Pohl, Cara Theobold and Matilda Smedius.
Hi everybody!
Hello!
Hello? Anybody awake?
I love the way Matilda yesterday was the first time you'd ever been at a con, wasn't it? And she came in, she was really timid and she came in really quietly like this. She was just leading there now, she was down walking in, first in, walk. She's got this. She's questions for the girls.
Jump by Van Halen would be great for Tracer, I think. Bouncing.
I'd like, cause I'm bam, you know it.
I think an ABBA song would fit the guitar.
Yeah, as all people who have voiced incredible characters, you must see a lot of people dressed in outfits of those characters. What's it like when you sort of come face to face with someone who loves that character so much they want to put the effort in to wear that?
It's amazing.
Run.
Get us far away. It's amazing, it's incredibly flattering, and you feel very proud to be part of something that you know, is so inspiring, that people spend so much time and effort. And some of the costumes today and yesterday, there was so many traces that looked just amazing. You can tell, and everyone's unique and they have their own spin on it, which I really like. There's a girl here today who I decided looks like a road trip tracer. She had some really cool glasses, so yeah, it's nice.
I saw a couple of traces yesterday, there were.
Yeah, totally, everything they said. And then the time, Mercy's a difficult one to do because of the wings, so people spend a lot of time working on those cosplays. I've met people that have spent like over a year working on a single costume, so that's always really cool to see and inspiring for me because I'm not crafty at all and not patient when it comes to things like that, so I'm like, I need to take a page out of their book. So yeah, it's always really cool. Thank you for doing that, you guys. It's very cool for us to see.
Thank you.
Yes.
What do you think of the personality of your characters?
I personally love Mercy. I think that she's such a great female character because she's got so many dimensions to her. She's educated and sort of serious, but she's got a sassy side. She's really empathetic, obviously, and soft in a way, but you know, she takes care of the team. You know, she heals everybody. She's got everybody's back. You know, a lot of you guys call her mom. So I love that she has so many sides to her, just like a real woman does, you know, and I identify with so many of her character traits. And then she has that little bit of sass to her as well that we've seen come through. So I think that they did such a good job on all the characters, making them three-dimensional.
Yeah, and I think they've done that with everyone, especially when you get more of the comics and you find out more of the lore. It's great to see the backstory and where these characters have come from and why they are the way they are. For me with Tracer, I love her. And she's so much fun to play. My favourite thing about her is her spirit and how sparky she is and how she manages to find the positive in every moment. And I think that's something that we could all sort of take a leaf out of Tracer's book in just finding the good in everything.
Yeah, and I love Brigitta's personality because she fits me. She loves cats, she loves food, and I also love her because she has this drive and she never gives up. She's always like, hard work pays off. She's like, I'm just gonna try again and do better, and if she doesn't, then she doesn't kick herself, or it's just like up and go again. It's I think that's the best part about Brigitta.
Great question, by the way. Thank you.
Excellent.
It is a good question. They're very shy today, aren't they? They're really on the go. I'm not shy. I'm not shy.
Not Overwatch related, but
Not
pineapple on
Moira.
pizza, yes
Moira's
or
not
no?
shy.
Say that again, sorry?
Not Overwatch related, but pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh,
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I mean, in my youth I would have gone for a Hawaiian every now and again. And not
It's
recently.
a trick, Cara.
Why?
Tell her why.
It's a trick. Oh God, you've not got a piece
No,
enough
it's
each to
not.
do Why is it a trick?
It's not a trick. It's just a thing.
Maybe when I was younger and uncultured, I would go for that. Not now. I'm very fancy.
I've gone for some pineapple pizza in my day.
It's not my thing at all. But I respect it.
Yes.
What was it like getting the role and your first day of playing the character? Like, do you have a big script with many lines, or was it very easy to do?
For my first recording, we started with the origin story clip. So we went through that, and it was very intense. We went through every single line, just analyzing it, like why is she saying it, how is she saying it, and we talked a lot about her relationship to her dad, her relationship to Reinhardt, and for me the first session was like intense. It's really like you have to just go into the character and get to know them, and it was fun. It was a really nice experience. It was awesome, and I kept telling Andrea, who's the director, and Michael, who's the head writer, this is so awesome, because it's really like getting into a character, not just like coming in and doing it, which I'm used to when I do Swedish dubs. So that was the experience for me.
Yeah, the first thing I ever recorded, and at this point the game hadn't come out yet, and it was very early days, so I had no idea what really the game was about or how big it would be. The first thing I ever recorded was the cinematic in the museum, which was just so cool because the first thing that they did was play me the music, and so I had the script and they showed me sort of an idea of the storyboard, and then they played the music to sort of give me an idea of the vibe, and that was the moment I was like, this is so cool. And that's something that really has the sort of spirit and the ethos of Overwatch as a whole, which was very cool.
Yeah, I also didn't know much about it or how big it would be when I got the part. My first session, I came in and there was a big picture up of Mercy on a big screen, and I was like, oh, what's that? And they were like, that's the character you're playing. Because a lot of times when you audition for video games especially, they don't tell you what the project is, they don't tell you what company it's for, they're very, very secretive about it. So I didn't really know what it was until I got the part and actually went in to record. And even then, I didn't have an idea of the scope of how big it would be. So I just remember Andrea telling me, you realize this is gonna be big, right? And then as actors, we hear that a lot, and then things don't go anywhere, so I just kind of went, yeah, whatever. But I guess she was right and I was wrong. But it was a fun session, yeah. It was all about finding the character and just finding the intensity of the accent and really getting into her. So I had a similar experience to both of you, I guess. Yeah, really nice experience.
What's your main ship in Overwatch? What's your main ship?
Our main ship.
Ship? Oh,
When you ship people.
Yeah.
Well, I support all the ships.
Same.
Same.
What's yours?
And Tracer. Widowmaker and Mercy? That's one. Mercy Maker. What about Tracer Maker?
We have to go outside for a minute, guys.
What's been the best part of the whole experience, like from like getting the part till now?
I can go because I know it's for me. For me, it's honestly meeting you guys. It's been the fans. It's been the whole experience with the community, the individual stories that you guys share with us when we meet you, the way that the Overwatch fan community has supported everything else we do outside of Overwatch. So for me, that's been, from getting the part till now, hands down the best thing about this, being involved in this, is how many people I've met, how much it's taught me about sort of the world, you know, like there's a lot of politics going on right now that are hard to deal with, and meeting so many individual people has really kind of shown me that people in general are really good, you know, and it's kind of like restored my faith in humanity, meeting all of you guys. And you guys, honestly, the amount of love that you give us and support is just so, it's so special, and I think that it makes us want to do a better job. It's brought me closer to the character, definitely, because it's kind of also shown me that I have a responsibility towards you guys to do my best and to be involved, and so for me that's the best thing. So thank you so much for your love, continued love and support.
That is such a good answer. So all of that. Yeah, being part of the Overwatch team has so many different sides to it. You've got the meeting you guys, being part of a world that kind of inspires this unity and inclusion and diversity, as well as getting to, you know, do our passion, which is recording in the studio and playing a character, you know, that we all really love. We all love our characters so much. So I think just being part of, you know, the ethos of Overwatch is pretty cool.
Fantastic. What is it like for you guys when you actually see somebody, you know, cosplaying as you? What does that feel like?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's just really great. It's not only the cosplays though, it's like the gifts that we get, the fan art, how talented people are, how much time people spend, and to see how inspiring it is for the fans, and as I said earlier, the stories, because a lot of fans come to us and tell us, you know, Overwatch got me through a rough time, or, you know, I met some fans yesterday that told me about a group of people that have social anxiety disorders and don't really speak, don't feel comfortable speaking to other people, but when they play Overwatch, they do. And it's kind of like changed their life, and that's real, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people kind of say, oh, it's a video game, and it's easy to kind of brush it off, but that is real, and so people are, you know, using this game.
Yeah, I think if you're not in the world of gaming, if you're not a gamer yourself and you don't really know about it, it's easy to just be like, oh, games, video games, as if it's this, you know, hobby or just something that kids do, rather than something that, you know, really brings people together and means a lot to people, like really in their real lives. And, you know, that is something that's really special.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add to that. Pretty much. I was going to say all that, so.
I'm going to go to the back, just the back there. Yes, you. Yes, you.
If you was any other character in Overwatch, who would you want to be?
I usually go for Winston, because he's my best friend. But I just had the idea then, which I think is genius, is if I could cross Winston and Mercy together, and so it was a big flying gorilla. Murston. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love
Professor
that.
Murston.
It's the new ship now.
Yeah.
Dr. Murston. Yeah. Okay, I'll take Murston. I like that. Yeah, Murston is awesome.
Yeah, I'm in on that.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, Matilda, as the newest character being added to quite a large pool of heroes and actors, obviously Lucie and Cara mentioned that you didn't know what it was when you went into audition and to first experience that. Did you know what it was when you went for it? And if you did, was that a bit more daunting seeing what it's like now?
I mean, I didn't know in the beginning what I was doing a voice test for. It was on my second voice test that I knew it was Blizzard. And I actually played Hearthstone a bit and Overwatch a lot. So for me that was a huge thing. Like, I was freaking out. And then during my third voice test, I got to know that it was Overwatch, which was crazy because it was crazy. But I had no idea. I was just thinking, okay, I'll tell my friends and they'll think it's really cool. I had no idea about all of this. Even as a player, like I didn't know that there were these amazing people behind the characters. I was just like enjoying the game and doing my own things. So even as a gamer, I didn't know what was gonna hit me, but it's been amazing, really, and it's a lovely experience. It's just surreal, really.
When you actually play the game, do you play your character that you voice?
No, it's too awkward.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Are you any
so
good?
Cool. No, I'm really bad, but I always go, oh, I said that. Oh yeah, that's how I said it. Cool.
Yeah, it's the only way you can like really experience your work, I think. Like you can listen to the voice lines, but it's not really the same thing. Like if you go into the game and you hear it in the battlefield, and like I remember hearing my own scream when Birgitte falls down a cliff. Like I was pushing Birgitte down a cliff on the PTR a lot just to hear my because I remember sitting in the studio and like doing that. So I mean, I have played Birgitte, but it's awkward. I think Moira's my favorite.
I've only ever played as Tracer, but played very badly. The first time I ever played was at BlizzCon in a demo area, and so I went and my friend was there, and we were in a team. There were 6 of us sat together, and there were so many people who picked Tracer of my team and the team we were playing against. I mean, I was terrible, but it was really surreal having the headset on and hearing so many like bouncing back like echoes of my own voice. And I was there and I was like joining in, saying lines, but there were so many Tracers that nobody knew it was actually me. They were probably just like, why is she so terrible? Get off the team. And they were like,
Okay, next question.
The question is, see how amazing that the cinematics are and stuff, and how brilliant they're made. If they were ever to make a series of Hits a movie, would that be a sort of thing you'd be up for doing and be excited to do?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It would be really cool thinking about the quality of the cinematics, like taking into like
I'm
a
just
movie
thinking
or
about the money.
series. See?
Oh yeah.
No, but it would be really cool. I think we'd all be up for it.
Oh yeah.
How does it feel that you've begun to realise that Overwatch has blown up to a point that it's now created an esports league in its own, and
That's
people can
awesome.
actually make a living out of playing this game?
Yeah, it's good for the players. No, I actually, Jen Cohn, who voices Farah, and I were invited to a, oh my god, somebody's having a heart attack just when I say the name Farah. We were invited to a New York Excelsior game against the Houston Outlaws, I think, in New York at a sports bar. And it was like 400 fans. Every single screen in the sports bar had the game on, and people were freaking out as if it was a football game or a base. It was great. Like that opened my eyes to the esports thing. I'd been to the Blizzard Arena in LA, and I was like, oh cool, but seeing it like in the context of a sports bar, that was really crazy. So yeah, that's wild. It's nuts.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they make a lot of money. those
Yeah,
players.
they do. I mean, it is exactly the same as professional sports
Yeah.
in terms of like its reach and how people follow it, and if there's a game on, people want to watch it and be part of that. I think it's really cool. And I really like the logo as well.
I remember going
Have it on a
to
t-shirt.
gaming conventions in Sweden, and I've been watching the Counter-Strike tournaments. I'm not really into it, but it's fun to watch because it's like you get all the audience is so into it, and just thinking about my voice maybe ending up there, it's just insane. It's unfathomable, really.
My question to Cara. How does it feel being like the one LGBT character and the other guys? Do you feel like some of your other characters also
Oh, nice. Nice sneaky one there.
I am very proud to play the first LGBT character in Overwatch. I think it's really important that for like diversity and inclusion reasons, and I think it's really important. I've met a lot of fans, young girls who are gay, who've come and spoken to me and said how much it means to them to feel like they are represented in that in this massive arena. And I think it's amazing because yeah, she is, and she's all the other things as well. You know what I mean? She's She's a cool girl.
Yeah, agreed. We need more of it. You know what I mean?
About the look and the skins of the characters, say for events, do you have any influence on how they look?
No, that's not our job. If only.
Yeah, if only.
God, if they put me in charge of that. It's not good. But yeah, the artists and everyone at Blizzard are just so incredibly talented that it's perfectly fine for that to be their job.
Yeah, they do listen to suggestions, they just don't take them.
They'll go, that's really nice, but
Thank you.
we'll think about that.
Yeah.
This one's from Matilda. Since you started, obviously beforehand you said before that you played Hearthstone and obviously Overwatch itself. What was it like once you found out you got the part, and what's it been like after it?
Like finding out that I got the part was insane. I was actually on the subway with my colleague and I got the call and he was like, what was that? Because I was screaming and the other people in the car were looking at me like thinking like, is she okay? Because I was like, oh my god, and like screaming. And then he was like, what was that? And I was like, because I couldn't tell anyone. So for me, the experience was like, it was so cool and I couldn't tell anyone for a really long time.
It's like when you win a game show and it hasn't aired.
Yeah, it was awful. It was so hard. I wanted to tell my brother because he was the one that showed the game to me, and I wanted to tell all my friends that are playing the game, but I couldn't. So that was hard. And now that she's live, it's been just crazy. My life has just like flipped 180, and I don't know, get back to me in a year and see if I know, because right now I'm still like in a blur. Honestly, it's crazy and awesome and crazy, really.
Is it crazy at all?
I think it might be crazy.
It's crazy and also crazy.
Yeah.
With the rumours of possibly them killing off one of the Overwatch characters in the lore, which character would you choose either or?
I haven't heard this rumour.
I am not.
Is this kind of like kill, marry, avoid, but we've got to choose the one that we're going to kill? I mean,
Who would you kill? Huh? Okay.
Go on. Who?
Same.
Oh, Symmetra. Oh, I like the Sims. I mean, yeah, she's right.
She's like, oh no!
Oh my god, that's a tough question.
Again, not something that is personally my job, so I'm just gonna no comment on that.
I don't want
Can
to
we like kill Bastion?
No.
You can if you want.
I mean, because that's Christmas. Sorry, I don't want to kill anybody.
Me neither.
But if she had to, she'd kill you.
FYI.
When you finally got to know the character and were recording, was there any other voice actors that inspired the voice of your characters?
Cara? Oh no. No, my mom inspired the voice. It's Cara Theobold. For me, it was my mother inspired the voice for Mercy.
I don't know where Tracer came from, somewhere like just inside of my head. When no other voice actors that I knew of, I kind of wasn't aware of that, of any outside influences. But Tracer was sort of created in my initial meeting for the role. I came in and I knew that she was a pilot, and so I was like, I'm a fighter pilot, like really like hard and deep. Some like bruiser kind of female fighter, and then Andrea on the line was like, have a bit higher, a bit more perky, a bit brighter, and then suddenly this voice that has never come out of me before ever appeared, and they were like, yeah, that's it. She was sort of just magically created.
I mean, I just thought of all the other, like I thought of these two girls, and just like when I play the game, how would I want someone to sound, which made me even more nervous. But I mean, I think I looked up to you guys, honestly. not just saying it. But just like trying to like, okay, if I were playing this character, how does it sound in the game? Like what feeling do I want to, sorry, language barriers. Emulate, thank you. That was a much better word than I would pick. Yeah. So I think I just looked to the other characters and were like, I'm gonna try to be as good as they are.
And she is.
Thank you.
Yep, right back. Yep.
For the voice line interactions with other voice actors, how does that, do you have any, I don't know if you guys do any influence, but how do you feel being able to talk to other people and being redone on the game?
For me, as I know the characters, it was really cool. It was like, it felt like that was a moment like, okay, I'm in the game. Like people are gonna hear, I'm gonna talk to the other characters. Like, you know, when you say stuff like, oh, defend the objective, or escort the payload, or stuff like that, it's like, I mean, you could say that in chat, really. So for me, that felt amazing. And I mean, it felt real suddenly. Like I could say something to Torbjorn or to Reinhardt. So.
Yeah, it's cool as well knowing who the other character is, because it means, you know your character's sort of relationship with them and how they interact. And for Tracer, that's really fun because you've got like people that are her friends, people who she's a bit naughty to, people who are like sworn enemies, and there's always an opportunity to sort of play with it. And often when we're recording things like that, we'll sort of play around with exactly how cheeky we want Tracer to be. So yeah, it's really good fun.
Yeah, it's really good when you talk about chocolate.
There's an Overwatch video of a couple of your voice actor colleagues joining a game and actually pretending to be their characters while playing the game, which is highly entertaining. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been tempted to do something similar.
I have been tempted, and I've had friends who are like, you should do it, you should totally play it and film yourself, or however it works. Sorry, I don't know about that. But however people do that thing, you should do that too. But I'm just so bad that it would just be, I would just die, and then die, and then
People
die.
would just yell, me too. People
They'd
just
be like,
yell at us.
yeah.
They'd be like, we don't care who you are. Leave, go away, you're ruining this game.
I mean, I have the idea every time I play with my friends. They're like, you should do it. But then I'm like, no, I can't do it. It would be too awkward. And then it feels like nobody would even react to it, really. It's like, I mean.
They probably think you were joking.
Yeah, I think so too.
With I'm looking behind me all the time. With the game having been out for a couple of years, all this kind of the voice lines and things with new content that's come out for the game, are these all things that you've recorded a long time ago and they're finally using them, or have you been back in to record things over that time period?
Well, we're in a few times a year, each year, since, so, I mean, when did the game come out? 2015?
16.
Oh my gosh. But I think I started recording in 2014, and each year there've been, 3 or 4 sessions that we're constantly, and sometimes it's something that you know is going to come out really soon, or sometimes it's something that's going to be in advance. It just depends. They know what they need, and sometimes it's like something little, and sometimes it's a lot. So yeah, it's a continuing thing.
Do you have to record together and do group sessions, or
Always
all alone. I think for some of the cinematics they do. I know that Darren, for the Reinhardt cinematic that came out, he was in a session with a bunch of other people, but usually no.
And I'm in London, so I'm always recording in London. There was one time I was in LA and recorded there, but still, it's just me.
Would you love to do it as a group sort of thing, one big cinematic?
That'd be so much
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be
I think
so
we'd
great.
be so badly behaved.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd just be making each other laugh probably. Very professional.
Can any of you repeat Hanzo's or Genji's voice?
Pardon?
Can any of you do Hanzo or
Can you? Can you?
That was pretty good, you guys.
Can I have a couple of drinks?
Alright, go ahead then.
Today? I think you have to do it, considering that you're putting us in the position that we've got to do.
It's so hard.
Maybe later.
Something.
Yeah. That's the end. The ending.
I'm not going to try.
You just know the ending. It's a lot of power.
Any voice lines that you thought were really cool that you picked up?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, we record so many. I was telling a fan this earlier, that sometimes we don't even remember it at all. And then we're like, oh yeah, cool, we recorded that. So I don't know.
Sometimes when I've recorded interactions with other characters, I get to have the opportunity to sort of play around and add in Britishisms, and with the producer in the UK, Adam, who I work with, we sort of have ideas and contribute. So sometimes it's fun to see what actually ends up making it in, what they think is the appropriate line. But yeah, usually we wouldn't have any idea.
Time is really catching us up, so I think we've got time for one more question. So, yes?
What's your favourite skin of your character?
The witch skin for me.
Oh my god, I like.
Don't climb on there, it's too big for you.
Okay, she's alright, I think. I think, I don't remember the name of it. It's like engineer mechanic. Yeah, that one. I don't know. I want to see more. I want more.
I like the Christmas album. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We'll take one more question. I think we just fit one more in. There we go.
What's your favourite part of your laws? And if you could contribute something to your law, which one would it be, or what would it be?
It's so hard.
I love all the stuff with Tracer and Winston and how he helped her and that whole thing. And in terms of adding something to the lore, I mean, they are so good at creating it, and Blizzard and Michael and everything that they write is so good. I don't think I could ever come up with anything. But it is always such a nice surprise and exciting when either we're recording a cinematic and we find out something new, or a new comic comes out or whatever. It's always great to see what the geniuses have in stock.
Yeah, I think for Brigitte, I love the relationship between her and Reinhardt, and also between her and Torbjorn, and how his turns are like his babies, and she's like, oh, Papa, like, it's so funny. And I think if I could add anything, maybe Jetpack Cat. More about it. Maybe something like that.
Nice. Yeah, I would like to just find out a little more about. I'd like to find out more about her and Farah, Anna, that whole story, because they seem to have some. I just said that to make them freak out, and it worked. Yeah, and if I could add something, no, I don't think I can think of anything better than they come up with either. But maybe I take a jetpack hat.
Hey, I'll take one too.
Yeah.
Jetpack hats for everybody.
Exactly.
Well, ladies, I think time has called us, so I was going to make one last request. Do you think you'd be able to say, Cara, would you be able to say, don't worry, love, cavalry's here?
To say, in fact, cheers, love, the cavalry's here.
Awesome.